Hi, it's Cassie Oelberg in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. I am going to keep reminding you guys, November 16th at 6 p.m., we are going to have a crop along live on YouTube, right here on YouTube. And we are going to have prizes in the comments. So you are going to want to come. We're going to make the gingerbread playbook. And if you don't want to do it in gingerbread, you can always do playbooks in whatever collection you would like, but we will do the project together and it will be a lot of fun. So I hope you decide to join me. Okay, let's do the third crop from the October virtual crop. I love these sketches. This one I didn't have to turn into a double page spread because it already was one. And we're going to go over, we're going to switch out some paper. We're going to do a three-sided frame, which is one of my new favorite things. And it's going to be fun. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right. I know I have lots of favorite things, don't I? Okay, so this is sketch number 3, and let's look at what we're going to work with on our Fast Fab pages. So we have these 2 pages, and they are next to each other. And once again, it's not exactly what I want, but I can use some of the paper that's already there. And, you know, it's just saving you some extra paper because you only have so many choices of what to use in the packs. So it's just nice whenever, let's just level this out a little, whenever we have more options and more things to use, right? So let's go ahead and do a 3-sided frame over here. Now, on this one, if you look carefully, you need it to be you need it to be a 1/2 inch over here and 1/4 inch top and bottom. So what you're going to do to make that happen is measure over your 1/2 inch. And this is not directional, so that part's not going to matter. You measure over your 1/2 inch, and then you're going to come down 1/4 inch, and you're going to cut down to 11 1/4, which is going to give you 11 3/4, which is going to give you 12 3/4 up here. If you look, that's not actually on the thing. So what we're going to have to do is look behind it and come to 10 3/4. So this is at 1/4 inch. We're going to bring it down. We're going to go nice and slow. I'm going to like tilt my head. Hopefully you guys won't see my head in the way. I'm not sure what you can see over there. And we're going to bring it all the way down to 10 1/4, which means that our cut is going to be at 11 3/4, sorry, 10 3/4. Got a math over here, which is going to put your cut line at 11 3/4 because it's also 1 inch from the back to that direction. So then we can easy peasy bring it over to 1/4 inch. 1 inch. And then we can just start this right there at the line where it cuts or at the 1/2 inch. And we can come all the way down. And then we flip this and do the same thing. Bring this over to 1/4 inch. And it's really important when you do this that you measure all the way up and all the way down because it's such a skinny cut that it's so easy to mess it up. So you want to just measure all the way up and all the way down. And now we have this nice skinny frame to go onto our page. And then we say, Cassie, what did you do with the tape? And thankfully I answer myself. So here we go. So now we're going to put this down on our page. And I could also use the skinny tape. Skinny tape would have been good for this. Also known as the mini tape runner, if you're looking for it on the website. It's not actually called skinny tape. And I know this is hard to believe, but it does not make you skinny either. Sad, huh? That's okay. It's still fun tape. Okay, so now we've got our 3-sided frame over here. Over here, most of it is already what we need it to be. So I'm just going to cut myself. I'm not going to actually cut myself. I'm going to cut for myself 2 1/4 inch little strips. for the top and the bottom. And that's just going to finish out my frame for the other side. So top and bottom. Did not measure it all the way to the bottom like I was just telling you to do. So look, you can see it got skinny and fat there, but it's not a big deal because we're actually going to cover it up with cardstock in just a second. I'm just putting this here. And when you're doing this, you kind of have to envision what your final thing looks like. So I need that around the outside. And now we can cut those to 11.5-inch pieces that the sketch actually tells us to do. So the sketch says that we need 2 11.5-inch pieces. And now we're going to make that happen magically. So cut this to 11.5. And then over here, we're going to cut this to 11.5. Okay. And now we are going to put these down on our pages. So one's going to go over here. As I attempt to get it straight. Okay. Whew. And then over here, same thing. And see, it doesn't matter that it got a little skinny and a little fat because, voila, I'm covering part of it up. But normally you just want to watch that because it's so easy to have happen. So now we have our bases of our sketch. So that was the base part. Now we're going to put this border in here, and it's only going to come to 6 inches over here because over here we're going to have a mat. So let's go ahead and get that cut. So we're going to start with our bottom base. It is going to be this beautiful striped paper. Love it. And we are going to cut ourselves to 3-inch strips. And then one of them only needs to be 6 inches. So we will turn this on our side and cut it at 6. Now, if you don't know for sure what size photo you're going to want on that other side, you could actually wait. You could build the whole border and then cut it down later if you want. But I have chosen my pictures, so I should be good. If I'm not, well, we'll laugh at me. That's what we'll do. Got a 2-inch strip and our 2 by 6-inch strip. But, you know, oftentimes you don't know exactly what you want on your page when you start building until you lay it all out. And so don't be afraid to build the border and then cut it down. That would also be a very, very smart option. Okay, so now we're going to do this green. And we need 1.5. And I usually do my smaller cuts over here to the right. And that's only because it gives me this nice tray to hold the paper on. And I just feel like I get a better, straighter cut when I do it over here. And then we're going to take and cut this at 6 inches. And don't forget, I always just automatically flip this little foot down when I pull it out. And occasionally I forget. And when you forget, sometimes it can end up a little bit crooked. So it's important to remember to do that. Okay, now I should not have closed this. I forgot I'm going to do this. And I'm actually going to switch my blade because this is a thicker thing to cut through. I'm going to pop over to my photo blade, which is what I keep under there in case I don't have my my cute little photo trimmer with me. And that way I don't dull my blade that I'm cutting my paper with, and it doesn't end up getting all fuzzy too soon. So there we go. And now we're just going to build these 2 borders real quick. Easy peasy. Now that we have all the pieces cut. I just love the papers in this collection. They are so pretty. Now, if I wanted to, I could move my stuff out of the way. I could use my blue silicone mat, and I could get the measurements exactly perfect. I am an eyeball it kind of a person. I look at it, I go, okay, that's the center, good to go. Use the repositionable tape, move it a little bit, and it doesn't give me stress to think that maybe I'm a millimeter off or something. So if you're the type of person who needs it to be exact, and you get stressed out, just move the stuff out of the way and do it right onto the glue mat. Now, I do like to stick things next to each other and just make sure that they're lining up perfectly. Because even when you measure, you're not perfect, you know? I know that's hard to believe. None of us are perfect. So there we go. And finally, we are going to do this. Super fun. Okay, so now these are going to go down our page. Let's take a look over here. And it looks like they're going exactly down the center. So that makes it easy. Now, when I'm centering it, I do tend to use my mat, especially if I want the top and the bottom to have the same height of pictures, and I want it to be, you know, centered. So this over a little bit so we can see the numbers, and this can go 1.5 inches up and 1.5 inches down because it was 3 inches, and that's how math works. And this is going to come across the page. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing, but on this side. Let's just get that straight. There we go. 1.5 inches up and 1.5 inches down. And voila, we have this keep border going through it. Okay, so now we are going to add in our photos. So we had a lot of fun in Belgium. We got to the end of the festival and we were just getting a little bit silly. There was this jazz, the guy who started jazz statue was there, and so the kids were getting super fun, pretending like he was there and they were talking to him. I love it when my family gets a little silly. Okay, so I wanted this up here. Let's see. We wanted this over here. This one can go up here. And we are going to use some peekaboos on this page. Okay. Baby girl was having way too much fun. You know, if I hadn't cut that, I would go ahead and I would take this and I would make it go. In fact, you know what? We're just going to do it. I realized that maybe I did want this to go across a little bit more. I should have had it go across 9 inches, and I think I would have been happier with that. But it's easy to fix. So let's go ahead and do that. See, I need this. I need this. I need my stripey piece. Ta-da. And I need my border. Where'd that border run off to? I threw it off to the side because I didn't need it. There it is. Right there. Okay. So this is the 3-inch piece. And it goes this must not be the same piece, is it, guys? That's okay. It's going to work. I'm going to add on to it because I realized as I put this down that what I really want is it to go up against the 4-inch photo. So 4 plus 6, 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, there we go. So 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to do a little bit over 2 inches. I'm going to add on to this border. And sometimes you're playing and you're like, oh, I should have done this. And guess what? It's never too late because it's scrapbooking. Okay, so this is going to need to go down. I love it when these things happen on air because it shows that even if you're scrapbooking and you change your mind, it's all right. It's all right to change your mind. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. And I changed my mind quite a bit. So this is going to go here. And now this is going to go here. So when I went to lay my pictures out, I don't know if you noticed, but I decided that what I really want to do is I want to put these 4x6 photos here instead of the 6x4 photos. So I want that to go vertical. Then I can put these up here. And then I can put this one down here. And then maybe I'll pull one of these out. Oh boy, we got silly that day. Andrew pretended like he was playing. I can go there. And then I only need peekaboos there. Okay, cool. There, now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. And you guys got to see my thought process. Okay, scary, huh? So let's go ahead and we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4. Love this trimmer. It is quite sharp though, quite sharp. So by 3 3/4. Don't want to cut off Andrew's head or Amelia's. That would be bad. So 3 3/4 up here. We're going to map them too. This one's going to go 3 3/4. So we're just going to trim a little off the top by 5 3/4. Yep, that's working out nice. This is going to be 3 3/4. 5 3/4. And then last but not least, these guys were so funny. So the bathtub races where they build a boat out of bathtubs and then they drive it down the river. They float it down the river and they have a race, and it's really more just for fun. I don't think anybody's actually trying to win the race because they stop and they squirt you with water and they get all silly. It's a lot of fun. And then these guys actually made a car bathtub and they were driving it down the road. I was dying. Okay, so that's going to go there, and I am going to leave those. Let's see. I guess they could be. And I'm not even going to cut these ones. I'm happy with them the way they are. I'm going to put one peekaboo there. Then this one I'm going to cut down to 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. so it matches the other ones, and same over here. Okay, there we go. Now we're just going to make ourselves some quick mats. You'll see how fast and easy this is. So, I need 4x6 mats. How many of those do I need? I need 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 4x6. So, 4 and 4. 6 and 6. And then we're going to tuck these ones here. Put those down in a second. So then we need 2 of them that are 4x4. So this is already 4 inches. So 5, 4. And then finally, we need 1 that is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. A silly girl. I love how goofy my family can be. They crack me up. 5, 6 1/4. There we go. And now we can take these all down. And you got to see the magic of what happens when you change your mind. And who hasn't changed their mind in the middle of a spread, right? You're working along and you're like, ah. It's really funny is I had that thought that somebody might want to change their mind, and then it was me. It was me. I wanted to change my mind. Oh, goodness. Silly me. Okay. Oh, I just love this layout. They did a good job. I got to meet some of the girls at home office a few weeks ago. I was out there for a celebration of life for my father-in-law, and I got to pop in, and they showed me the marketing room where all the videos are done, and all of those amazing, talented women that work on the layouts were there, and I just felt so blessed. Felt so incredibly blessed to be able to meet the people who come up with this stuff. So, okay. This one right down here. And I'm going to add this one here. Oh, I love this layout. Okay. Might be starting to come off the camera a little bit, so I'll just move it all the way over here. Okay. And that is it. Could put the page protector and the peekaboo in, but I would have to find the peekaboo under my mound of things over here. And we did that 2 weeks ago. So if you want to see how to put the peekaboo on, go to 2 weeks ago on the 1st October sketch, and you will see that you need to open it on one side and pull the sticky off on the other side, and you will have a perfect way to put the peekaboo on. But here we go. Super fun. Okay, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you being here, and you have a fabulous day.